The small town of Bikin, home to approximately 20,000 residents, nestles in the far eastern territories of Russia. The town sits by the banks of the eponymous Bikin River, in whose valley a national park was founded in November 2015. Encircled by the vast expanse of century-old forests, the town is enshrined in an ocean of green. In the midst of this lush wilderness, about a tenth of the world's population of Amur or Siberian tigers finds refuge. Teetering on the brink of extinction, this majestic species has been given stringent protection due to the relentless hunting that spanned centuries. After the creation of the national park, the locals have been fervently cautioned against any thought of pursuing these magnificent creatures. Despite their presence, tiger-human encounters were scarce, and no attacks have been recorded since 1997, when a tiger fatally attacked 2 campers. However, this prohibition doesn't deter determined poachers and fur smugglers who flout the restrictions. Armed to the teeth, they scour the forests in groups and smuggle their spoils to China, where tiger-based products are highly valued for their purported medicinal qualities. As a countermeasure, a ranger service was established within the national park. Among the park rangers is 35-year-old Sergey Rodionov, a Bikin native who spent his childhood exploring every inch of these forests. Securing a job as a ranger filled him with immeasurable joy, as he now earned a living doing what he loved and had been doing all his life. With this role, he had a valid reason to roam the forests for days, hunting for poachers, even during the harsh winters when most forest paths and streams become inaccessible. Sergey viewed his role as a caretaker of the wilderness. He would journey deep into the forest during winters, scattering food for the animals. However, he never strayed far from his firearm, a necessary precaution more against human threats than animal ones. Despite spending years in the forest, he never faced any significant trouble. On January 15, 2016, Sergey hoped it would be another peaceful day in the forest. He planned to travel a considerable distance from the river, deposit food for the animals, and return home. Several hours of traversing the forest on his snowmobile should be uneventful, he thought, as he had neither seen signs of poachers nor stumbled upon any leftover hunting remains for months. Equipped with provisions on his sled and a gun slung over his shoulder, Sergey embarked on his journey through the snow-blanketed forest. As he steered off the trail, he was met with a challenging terrain of deep snow and concealed broken branches. Despite these obstacles, his sled persevered slowly but steadily. After some exertion, he managed to continue without having to dismount and push his sled. The forest's silence was punctuated by the snowmobile's engine, a sound that echoed through the wilderness like a plane's roar. To Sergey, the noise was a blessing in disguise, serving to ward off any nearby predators. However, his journey was abruptly interrupted when the front of his sled collided with a snowdrift. Despite his vigorous attempts, the sled remained immovable, deeply lodged into the snow. Sergey resorted to shoveling his way out, and after some time he succeeded in freeing his sled. As he was about to restart his engine, his eyes caught sight of something unsettling on a nearby tree, clearly visible parallel scratches. A chill ran down his spine as he realized these were a tiger's territorial marks. He hastily reached for his gun, scanning the silent surroundings for any signs of danger. Convinced that the coast was clear, he decided to continue his journey. A couple of kilometers farther into his journey, Sergey spotted prints in the snow alongside the trail. He dismounted his sled to examine these imprints more closely. The unmistakable paw prints belonged to a tiger, probably the same one that had marked the tree bark. The substantial size of these tracks suggested it was quite a large animal. Now, apprehension crept into Sergey's mind, and he started second-guessing his decision to venture into the forest. Even more disconcerting, the freshness of the tracks indicated the beast could be nearby, possibly in hiding. As he attempted to swiftly remount his sled, Sergey pushed the ignition button, only to be met with silence. A sudden shiver ran down his spine, as if he were being observed by an unseen entity. He swiftly turned around and was confronted by the unsettling sight of a tiger, merely 20 or 30 meters away, watching him. Sergey froze on the spot, entranced by the magnificent creature. Its enormity echoed the large paw prints he had just examined. With an urgent shake of his head, he tried to restart his engine, but to no avail. His heart pounded as he noticed the tiger beginning to prepare for an attack. Instinctively, he reached for his gun. The following instant, Sergey was blindsided by a force akin to being hit by a fast-moving train. The tiger, in its powerful leap, had capsized him and his snowmobile. His firearm was flung out of reach. Pinned under the overturned vehicle, Sergey found himself immobilized in the snow. His predicament further worsened by the looming threat of another imminent attack from the tiger, now just a few meters away. Engaging in a frantic struggle, Sergey attempted to free his trapped leg. As he watched the tiger approach him slowly, each passing second felt like an eternity. The tiger seemed to savor this moment of his vulnerability, understanding that an unarmed and cornered man had little chance of winning this confrontation. Sergey was haunted by the thought that his striped adversary might be delighting in his imminent defeat, preparing to swiftly end his suffering with a lethal strike or bite. Despite his desperate attempts to move the sled, his leg remained stuck, and the tiger continued to advance. In desperation, Sergey kicked at the sled, flinging his hands around in hopes of scaring off the beast. As luck would have it, he found a piece of the animal food scattered around the sled and hurled it at the tiger. The tiger paused, seemingly confused, and Sergey seized this moment to summon his strength and tug at his trapped leg once more. Whether due to the snow softening or the sled shifting slightly, he managed to free himself. Now on his feet, he found himself face to face with the visibly irritated tiger. Sergey recalled reading that the worst response to a tiger encounter was to attempt escape, a futile effort given his current isolation. Ignoring the pain shooting up from his likely injured leg, he straightened his posture. He bellowed with all his might and flailed his arms, hoping to startle the beast and possibly deter it. However, the tiger remained unfazed, its predatory growls echoing its readiness to launch another, possibly fatal attack. Determined not to surrender to the beast, Sergey's attention was drawn to a shovel lying beside the overturned sled. It was tantalizingly within reach, but moving to grab it would likely provoke the tiger to pounce. Regardless, he knew he had to try, no matter the outcome. In the flash of a moment when Sergey extended his arm for the shovel, the tiger propelled itself forward, a flawless display of power and innate wildness. A sense of mortal danger flickered in Sergey's mind, prompting an instinctual sidestep. The ensuing chaos was a whirlwind of swift movements and excruciating pain as he wrapped his hand around the cold shovel handle and started to swing in wild defense. The colossal beast towered over him, its potent muscles twitching under its striped coat, its eyes gleaming with predatory determination. Each swipe of its razor-sharp claws tore through Sergey's flesh as if it were mere tissue, sending waves of torment coursing through his body. However, amidst the concert of pain, he gleaned a gritty satisfaction that his frantic counterattacks were landing. Each metallic clang of the shovel on the tiger's hardened body, and the occasional thud when he successfully struck the formidable beast, felt like a minor victory in his desperate struggle for survival. His muscles wailed against the punishing exertion, yet he mustered all his remaining strength to swing the shovel in a tempest of blows. Suddenly, the colossal weight of the tiger crashed onto him, a merciless force that sent shocks of unbearable agony radiating throughout his body. His world was reduced to the terrifying spectacle of the relentless beast, its relentless assault barely slowed by his determined strikes with the shovel. The putrid odor from the tiger's gaping maw, a gruesome blend of decaying flesh and raw meat, filled his senses as the snarling jaws of the beast loomed menacingly. It was a chilling reminder of his imminent fate, amplifying the primal fear that pulsed within him. As he braced for the end, he squeezed his eyes shut, but a fiery resolve spurred his movements. If he was to meet his doom, he was determined to put up a fight. In a sudden twist of fate, the smothering weight of the tiger abruptly receded. The unexpected release of pressure left Sergey momentarily confused, his yells echoing hollowly in the now silent forest. Confused by the sudden lack of resistance, Sergey continued his wild strikes and cries. Gradually, he realized his blows were meeting nothing but air. He opened his eyes to witness the tiger retreating into the depth of the forest, pausing to cast a final glance his way before disappearing. It almost felt like an acknowledgement of a formidable adversary. Bleeding and battered, Sergey mustered the strength to stand. Remembering his firearm, he quickly retrieved it in case the tiger decided to return and finish its attack. Yet a familiar silence enveloped him again. He understood that he needed to leave the forest immediately. Whether driven by adrenaline or sheer will, he felt imbued with an extraordinary surge of power. He managed to right his overturned sled, and to his relief, the engine roared to life at his first attempt. Mounting the sled, he sped off, leaving a bloody trail in the snow. His journey to the nearest residences seemed to last days. He fought against the encroaching unconsciousness, knowing that pausing would likely lead to his death from blood loss. The sight of the battered sled bursting forth from the forest left the Baikin residents in shock. They beheld a spectral figure, bloody and tattered. His clothing had been shredded by the tiger and hung off him in rags. He was promptly rushed to the hospital where his injuries were tended to. An immediate search was launched for the tiger, which was soon captured with the help of helicopters. The culprit was revealed to be an old male tiger, injured and bearing signs of a recent encounter with poachers. Remnants of barbed wire from a snare still clung to his neck. Unable to hunt in his weakened condition, the tiger had turned to easier prey, humans. However, as Sergey Rodionov had proven, he was anything but easy prey. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate your time and hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked what you saw, be sure to check out the other great content on our channel. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to bring you more. Thank you again, and see you in the next video.